A tiny white pill, older than most people watching this video, sits quietly in a plastic bottle. No bright label, no flashy branding. Just a generic drug designed in a different era, an era before smartphones, before the internet. Before we even understood how the brain truly worked. And yet somehow this unassuming pill has become the center of one of the most unexpected scientific revelations of our time, decades ago. Doctors prescribed it for one simple job: controlling blood sugar. Straightforward, predictable. Nothing groundbreaking. But then something strange began to surface, something no one was looking for. Patients who'd been on this old medication for years weren't just managing diabetes, they were aging differently. They were staying healthier for longer. And even more curious, their brains seemed to be aging at a slower pace. At first, it looked like coincidence, medical noise, a statistical blur. But the blur kept appearing, again, and again, and again. So researchers did what researchers do: they zoomed in, and what they found made them pause. This old drug, designed for a single purpose, was interacting with the body in ways nobody expected. It was activating a cellular pathway, almost like flipping a switch that's deeply involved in how cells use energy, repair damage, and stay resilient over time. It was as if the drug had been hiding a second identity for 60 years, quietly influencing systems connected not just to metabolism, but to how we age. The real shockwave came when scientists looked at the brain. Inside the brain, neurons live in one of the most energy-hungry environments in the human body. They're constantly firing, rewiring, adapting, repairing, and research began showing that this old pill might support some of the very processes that keep those neurons functioning at their best. Experiments started hinting at improvements in learning pathways, stronger cellular defenses, reduced signals linked to neural decline, even hints of boosted plasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections. No one saw this coming. A medication older than video games, older than MRI machines, older than the Human Genome Project, was showing potential effects on brain health that researchers had only begun to understand in the last decade. So the question emerged: if an old glucose drug has these unexpected effects, what else has been hiding in plain sight? That question triggered a wave of new studies. Scientists began testing how this drug interacts with longevity mechanisms, how cells adapt to stress, how they preserve energy, how they clean up damage, and suddenly, the idea wasn't just about living longer, it was about living better, sharper, clearer, more resilient. Because longevity without brain health isn't longevity at all. The real goal is a life with more healthy years with memory, focus, independence, curiosity, identity. And that's the part of the story where things truly shifted. This simple pill, the one that cost pennies and blended into every pharmacy shelf, was now being studied in some of the biggest aging research projects in the world, not because anyone believed it was a miracle, but because science was forced to confront a humbling truth. Sometimes the answers aren't hiding in the future. Sometimes they're hiding in the past, in the things we overlooked, in the tools we thought we understood. A drug created in a world with rotary phones is now being examined with technologies that can map the inside of a single cell. And in that contrast, a new picture of aging is emerging, not as a fixed destiny, but as a biological puzzle we're slowly learning to decode. We still don't have all the answers. The story isn't finished. But what this discovery represents is a shift in perspective. A shift that says maybe aging isn't as rigid as we once believed. Maybe brain health isn't something that simply fades. Maybe the systems of the body are more interconnected, more adaptable, more influenceable than we ever imagined. And perhaps the biggest lesson is this: the breakthroughs that change everything don't always arrive as shiny new inventions. Sometimes they arrive disguised as something ordinary, something familiar, Something we've seen 1,000 times without ever truly looking at it. This tiny pill, this forgotten invention of the 1960s, has pushed open a door into understanding aging, resilience, and the brain in a way that could reshape the future of human health. And if a drug this old can surprise us, imagine what else is out there, waiting to be rediscovered. If you're fascinated by stories like this where everyday science turns into something extraordinary, consider sticking around. There are more discoveries like this unfolding every single day, and some of them might change everything we think we know.